Daily video for September the 27th. Hopefully traders had a fantastic trading day today. Lots to talk about. We got ES here. Sorry. I was looking for earlier. You could see that I had that video I posted on FinTwit. I wouldn't be surprised that they tripped the stops above 5,800 because they got to that 57.95. And lo and behold, they did it. We went in for a correction here. This was the candle 57.95. We went all the way back to 57.35, which was my L pivot on that previous chart, and we bounced. And they did another wick, kind of like here. Are they gaming this? I think they are. I think they're going to do a pump and dump tomorrow. My upper band is pointing now above the 55.85 target that I wanted, that sweet spot. So just in case they really ram it tomorrow, it can get to 58.70, 58.75, the top of my band where moves tend to terminate, kind of like here. It's just been going along though, yes. Obviously, they're peaking this. And the oscillator now is above my dotted line, which is basically running out of gas. So it could be one of those situations where the boys use the CPI report, and either they dump and pump. Usually the first move, as many people know that have been following me for a long time, usually the first move is the wrong move. So either they, do a nice dump, trip stops, and then go, keeping the upside intact, maybe test these cluster areas here in ES futures around the 57.75, 55.80, which is another 20 points lower, or come to test this cluster here. Notice that the price now is above all these bazooka blocks. We got some nice size blocks today on this move up. So it looks like to me they're dumping into strength, and tomorrow could be the report. They like to use these big news releases to dump into, right? Non-farm payrolls, inflation, core inflation report. Even today, the durable goods is a big report, and that's why you see these bazooka blocks as well, these pink ones. They're not as big as this one's. They're not as big as these ones, but they're still quite sizable. And you can see that they came in on the run up. So we got a wick here, and all over FinTwit, they're not going to be talking about this wick. It looks like a bearish candle reversal, this, that. And they use that, as I've been saying many, many times, they paint the charts to trap the algos that are programmed to look at these specific candles, kind of like here, right? Smack it, boom. And they just keep on going. As I said, it's severely gamed, but you can pick up on the game, especially if you concentrate on the security you trade with. Like I've always said, you get to pick up on things that other people don't because you're staring at that one security. So I'm looking for 58.38, 58.40 B pivot. I think it gets taken out. Either two spots. I have two T's here. Either it stops at 58.55, which is very strong resistance, and above that, 58.70 to 58.75, which is matching my upper band. So these are two upper targets that I could definitely get. It's the core inflation report, and they could do one final hip hip hooray. It's bullish. My upper bands are up, my lower bands are up, which tells me dips are to be bought. But it's getting quite stretched, but ES can get stretched and more stretched considering what they've done for all these years. So they could bring it anywhere they want. It's obvious. These are prime targets for me to the upside, as I stated on September the 22nd, where I did that video showing that there is a reversal here. And we could be going higher and trip those stops above 5,800, which they just did. So I'm looking for 58.55 and 58.70 to 58.75 strong resistance. Those two targets might be what they want to clip tomorrow. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just thinking that because of the core inflation, they could have a chance to offload more shares. I personally think they are offloading shares. I think going into October, November, it's going to be very dangerous. And, when you have millions and millions of shares, you need to offload them to people, and you're going to need to make the markets look really, really good, really, really bullish, which how they are now. But it doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it. But it's kind of like musical chairs. When the music stops, then, things could reverse fairly quickly, and you got to be really quick on that trigger. Now, it's typical for retail, you can get out quite easily, but imagine institutions where you have, billions of dollars and all these millions and millions of shares. So just be careful. If you're long, trail up stops. For me, I would definitely, trail it 57.50, another 55 points lower, because it could I think these bazooka blocks will hold, and they're probably going to want to dump more towards the open or at the close, make one final high right at the close. I don't know. We're going to have to see the price action tomorrow, but I think they're going to aim for these upper T's here, considering that my band's matched up with them too. And if they do the dump first, I'll look to, if the charts are set up, I'll look to buy that dump. If they pump it hard, I'll look to short it into this area here though. So be careful. Like I said, if you're not comfortable with the way these markets are moving, it's always good to step aside and wait till that dust settles. These markets have extremely changed in the last couple of years, especially this year. It's been severely gamed. They hunt stops like madmen. So you've got to be really careful, and you have to have a plan. These daily videos, I know they help many, many people. They love them. And, it's good that I do them every day because it prepares you for the next trading day. But as you well know, things can change, and you need to be able to adapt to the change, because these markets can change on a dime, considering tomorrow too, a very important release. Now, I think they're going to pump it. But like I said, the first move is usually the wrong move. Pump it up to those T targets, trip more stops, provide liquidity for them, and dump more bazooka blocks. And I'm pretty sure the shares that they have all across the board, they can dump a lot more of those too. I'm talking to you, Buffett. He's been dumping like a madman for like a year. See how much money is out there? It's insane. It's insane. They've been doing it because they slowly want to gradually do it, right? If they just dump all of a sudden, they'll scare the market. You're talking about billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. You don't want to be dumping that. You'll crush the stock. So they gradually dump. Imagine not just him. Imagine all these other funds that are in the know. They're probably competing to get out, but the Fed is probably giving them a helping hand. Yellen made a call, and the plunge protection team comes in and they save things, keeping the upside intact until it doesn't work anymore. Are we getting into that area, that seasonality, the elections, which is probably one of the most important elections in the last 100 years? So, and there's just geopolitical issues and triggers everywhere. Like, I can't even keep up with what's happening, but it seems like this market doesn't care because they're being conditioned. The market's been conditioned for years that, there's a war. Oh, well, we're used to it. So it needs to be some sort of big trigger to really affect things. And there are some out there. And, usually the market, before that trigger happens, usually the market rallies hard, like what it's doing now. And then you wake up one day and it's a breaker. And that's what's probably going to happen again. I think it happens in October before the elections. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Just based on price action. It's just based on what I'm seeing. I see kind of the duplicate scenarios that I've seen other times where things didn't work out too good in the market. But like I said, I think it's going to need a very, very big trigger. And there's lots out there. But in the meantime, I'm looking for those upper targets, and I think we clip them. And from there, I'd like to see how things look across the board. And that would peak my oscillator, which is, you're playing musical chairs when that oscillator is that high. It could definitely go higher, kind of like a melt up, but that's rare, right? So we're traders. We run marathons. We don't run sprints. And that's what trading's about, running a marathon. If you want that quick money every week, then you're probably not going to last too long. But if you can gradually build your account, you could do very well. Let's move on. So be careful tomorrow. Looking for a pump and dump. Let's move on to nat gas. Nat gas,